global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. A quick recap. Some few months back, during the cash crunch, the then governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, had actually assured his people that they shouldn't have bothered about the issue of cash crunch, and that whatever the old new naira notes are, they shouldn't sell their old naira note, because when his principal gets in, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they will bring back the old naira note, and definitely everything will normalize. True to his words, his principal came into being, and the old naira note became normalized again. In fact, new naira notes are actually the one that are actually scarce. Fast forward, there have been a lot of disagreement over the issue of his ministerial seat. It looks like there is more that meets the eyes, and from all indication, a lot of controversies are going on behind. Obviously, politicians are still politicians, regardless. They always have their own personal interest as against the general good of others. Well, let's find out really what is going on within the AsoRock and what Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, have intended to move on and what intends to do. But before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button beside it. You will see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Now, not a few Nigerians have been taken aback by the decision of the Senate not to clear former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and two others as ministerial nominees, citing security checks. But of the three, the one that has generated the most controversy and sent tongues wagging is El-Rufai's, and this is obvious. His contributions to the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as candidate and president are all in the public domain. Now, El-Rufai opposed the plan of the former national chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC, that's Senator Abdullahi Adamu, to retain power in the north and led the team of northern governors who insisted that power must shift to the south. At the heat of the campaign for APC's presidential ticket, Aisha, the wife of the immediate past president Muhammadu Buhari, reportedly asked him to speak with other governors who were running for the presidential ticket to step down for Tinubu. He went about the task, and a good number of them, especially from the north, stepped down and supported the Tinubu candidacy. Now, fast forward to the 8th of June 2022, when Tinubu emerged as APC presidential candidate. After his emergence, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, and the so-called cabal in the then federal government came up with the currency swap initiative. Now, the Kaduna State governor, under the leadership, of course, of Nasir El-Rufai and two other state governments, sued the federal government, the CBN and others to challenge the policy at the Supreme Court. Later on, other state governments joined the suit and they won. That was how the currency swap policy and the hardship it brought were mitigated. Then, in October 2022, Tinubu publicly said he would not leave the stage at the Kaduna Investment Summit until El-Rufai rescinded his decision to retire from public office and pursue other private endeavors. He said he needed him to stay and work with him. In deference to Tinubu, who was his guest at the time, El-Rufai went on stage to meet him and said he would work with the then incoming government, even if it was on part-time basis. After emerging victorious at the polls, President Tinubu reportedly invited El-Rufai and told him that one of his campaign promises to Nigerians was uninterrupted power supply, and that he had looked around and decided that El-Rufai was the man who could deliver for him on that promise. At first, El-Rufai was said to have hesitated in accepting the offer. Over time, it took the intervention of some patriots and well-meaning Nigerians who allegedly prevailed on El-Rufai to accept the offer. But before he accepted the offer to serve, El-Rufai was said to have informed the president that based on his past experiences, it was imperative for gas to be under the same roof with the Federal Ministry of Power, since gas was a critical component for electricity supply in this time and age, coupled with the drive for clean energy and climate change. It was said that if the proposal was accepted by the president, the new ministry will be known as Federal Ministry of Energy. Informed sources also hinted that El-Rufai proposed the setting up of a National Energy Council under the chairmanship of the President, with representatives of the relevant ministries, agencies, and departments, such as Federal Ministry of Finance, Federal Ministry of Petroleum, Federal Ministry of Environment, and others. With all this, it was gathered that the idea was for the President to drive the initiative for uninterrupted power supply, while El-Rufai would implement it as Minister of Energy. Now, the President consented and asked him to assemble his team and get to work immediately. So when the presidential directive with the presidential directive, El-Rufai assembled a team and began working about 3 weeks before his name was sent, alongside others, to the Senate for screening on the 27th of July 2023. Surprisingly, when El-Rufai appeared before the Senate for screening, a senator from Kogi State, that's Sunday Karimi, after commending El-Rufai for his achievement in public office, said he had a petition against him that bordered on security, unity, and cohesiveness. He urged the Senate to consider the petition while screening the nominee. When El-Rufai wanted to speak to the petition, the President of the Senate, Akpabio, said he would not bother. He shouldn't bother. His words, and I quote, "I have to inform all of you that I have received similar petitions from some people against some other nominees. But this is not where we are to deal with petitions. Our job here is to screen. And of course, we can refer petitions to where petitions will be dealt with. They are nominees of Mr. President. If it is something where there is a formal petition before the Senate, we will look at it formally. But there are certain petitions we have to refer to the presidency or security agencies to look at. And that has nothing to do with us. By the time we go into confirmation, we will be so advised." Now, so I want my brother to take a bow and go and don't bother to explain the petition. However, discreet investigation has revealed that the petition was allegedly given to Senator Karimi by Akpabio on the morning of the screening exercise. He was only asked to present it. This perhaps explains why he was recognized by Akpabio immediately he raised his hands. Reliable sources in Abuja and Senator Karim has reportedly apologized to El-Rufai for the embarrassment. Other prominent leaders and politicians from his home state of Kogi have allegedly tendered unreserved apologies and distanced themselves from the petition and the acts of the senator. Meanwhile, it has been revealed that the petition was formed the petition, which formed the basis of the non-confirmation of El-Rufai, is the subject of libel suits which the former governor instituted against the petitioner, one Gloria Mabeam Balason from southern Kaduna. Again, contrary to the insinuation that El-Rufai had been banned from holding public office in Nigeria, independent checks have revealed that there is no such resolution. It was mere recommendation of a committee of House of Representatives over 20 years ago. Now, the recommendation has been squashed by court of competent jurisdiction. Besides, El-Rufai has since become a two-time governor of Kaduna State with outstanding records of performance. A source of the Senate said even the letter that the President of Senate relied on to stop the confirmation of El-Rufai and others was not addressed to him. Rather, it was addressed to the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, which is Senate, and signed by one Aminu Yusuf, a director in the Office of the Director General of the State Security Services, SSS. The President of the Senate was merely copied. This is against the protocol on communication between the executive and the legislature, which forbids the National Assembly from acting on any communication that is not signed by the President, much less one that was not addressed to it. Now, what has now emerged is that the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, working in a cohort with the Chief of Staff, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, allegedly got things up. Okay, now reliable sources allege that Vice President Kashim Shettima Rabadu and Gbajabiamila feel that El-Rufai, especially if he is able to deliver on the task, they do not want him to serve in the government and succeed because they are also planning for 2027 and 3031. As the case may be, and they see, I think that again, 2027 and 2031. As the case may be, and they see him as a potential threat to their aspirations. They are also being allegedly propelled by other forces outside the government. Now, some stakeholders in the power sector who have paid between 2 billion and 3 billion naira as subsidies for electricity are afraid that with El-Rufai coming on board, the free money will stop. Now, they allegedly lobbied the president not to make El-Rufai the Minister of Energy because they contributed to his campaign. There are political foes like Shehu Sani and some elements in the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) and even some sponsored Muslim clerics who are allegedly part of the gang-up. Well, some days back, it was said that El-Rufai requested to see the president. When they met and El-Rufai expressed his reservations about all that had happened, the president reportedly asked for 12 hours to investigate the matter and resolve it on his part. El-Rufai allegedly said 24 hours was ideal given the presidential busy schedule. It was 24 hours on Wednesday, 9th of August 2023, when the media reported that El-Rufai was at the presidential villa to meet with the president. The meeting was actually for the team assembled by El-Rufai to make a presentation to the president on their activities and plans to reform the power sector. But surprisingly, at the meeting, the president allegedly began to query some of the things that are agreed on weeks ago, and about the bringing of gas under the same roof with power and to be renamed Federal Ministry of Energy and other reform initiative. It seemed that the appointing authority had a change of mind, hence all the avoidable drama that dodged the screening and confirmation. At the end of the meeting, a source at the presidency said El-Rufai asked the president if he could see him one-on-one in respect of the other matter that the president said he would get back to him on. The president reportedly said he needed to see some persons who were waiting for him and that the director of protocol would call him to scheduling a meeting. The meeting had not held, but sources close to the former Kaduna State healthman said he's already at the verge of rejecting the ministerial offer already. As a prelude, El-Rufai has reportedly submitted the curriculum vitae of a senator from Kaduna State as a replacement for him, since Kaduna State has no representative in the soon-to-be composed Federal Executive Council (FEC). Now, sources hinted that the former governor of Kaduna State has since jetted out of the country to ward off pressures from party stalwarts and concerned Nigerians who are worried about the turn of events, wondering how those who lobbied him to come and serve would turn around to rubbish his enviable public records. But sources say whatever is the case, the buck stops on the presidential seat. Now, if he really means well and wants El-Rufai to deliver for him on constant power supply, he knows what to do to get him confirmed, as it happens in the case of Festus Keyamo. Recall that during Obasanjo's administration, El-Rufai had an issue with the lawmakers when he alleged that some of them were demanding bribe from him. Obasanjo intervened and the matter was resolved and Senate cleared him. One of the sources said, it remains to be seen what the president will do in the next couple of days to keep his words or pander to inanimate and thereby sacrifice proven competence and capacity. Now, this is quite interesting. You can now see the drama going on. Although, let's meet in the comment section. What's your take?